Well, hello and welcome to our program tonight. Brand new season starting tonight. You may notice that we've decorated the curtains a little bit, rearranged the furniture just a little bit to leave me more room between my radio and my chair so that we can have a little bit larger screen to show our pictures and stuff on. But before we start tonight, I want to tell a little something about one of our members in the congregation. I guess a month or so ago, I was looking through some of my comments. And this comment was from 2 or 3 years ago. And the lady said, "You need to be doing a TV show." And then it was like an afterthought. She said, "But you know, you might be doing what God wants you to do anyway," talking about me putting my things on YouTube. Well, I had no idea that I would be doing this Friday night sing-along at that time. Now, she may have planted a seed. I don't know what it was, but, my first thought was, nobody's going to put me on TV. It's just not going to happen at 75 years, but I did not realize what YouTube had become, But anyway, Tammy dear, I appreciate that comment, and I read it 2 or 3 years. I remember it from back then, but of course I didn't associate you. I didn't know you then like I do now from the congregation and everything. But thank you for that comment, and you may have well planted the seed that got me to thinking about, well, how could you do a TV show if the networks don't care? They're not coming to get you. And then all of a sudden there was YouTube. So, Tammy, you did a little bit of predicting back then, and I just appreciate your thoughts. You're always one of the ones that are encouraging. Many of you are encouraging. I appreciate all of that. It's beyond me how we got here, but I'm glad we did. But without further ado tonight, without me doing too much talking to lead things off, let's just get right into the program. For our first song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that was written by Joseph Webster and Fillmore Bennett. And they published this song in 1868. And it comes from my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be CD. Fillmore Bennett gave the account of how the song came to be written. He said that Joseph, much like many of us musicians, we're sensitive in nature. There's something about us that, I don't know if it's the creative side or the artistic side or what it is. We tend to be emotional people and sensitive and, easy to hurt our feelings. And sometimes we have little bouts of depression. And, I understand all of this. Thankfully, in my last few years, there's not been a lot of depression. I did suffer from it in my earlier years, but there was reasons for that. I was causing a lot of my own problems. And it took me a while to learn how not to do that anymore. But anyway, he said one day, and he said he learned to recognize when Joseph was having these bouts of depression and things. But he owned a store in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Bennett did. And he said he came into my store one day and he walked down the aisle and went back to the wood stove and just sort of sat down and was kind of quiet. And he said he realized then, but he said he had learned, because they were friends and they wrote music together, and they, Fillmore knew him by this time. And he said he had learned early on that if he would give him some poem to work with and let him set it to music, it would tend to lift his spirits a little bit. So, anyway, Joseph sat down. He said, "Joseph, what's the matter?" He said, "It'll all be better by and by." And Fillmore said, this idea came to his head. He said, that might make a good song. And he said, I suppose it could. Joseph said that. So Fillmore said he sat down. He said as fast as he could write it out, these words came to him, and said that just within 30 minutes after he had given it to Joseph, who took out his fiddle, apparently he was a violin player, fiddle player, and said within 30 minutes they had the song completed and they were sitting there singing "In the Sweet By and By." So we're going to do our version of "Sweet By and By" for you tonight. Everybody get your instruments out and sing along and play along with us. "In the Sweet By and By."
There's a land that is brighter than day, and by faith we can see it afar. For the Father waits over the way to prepare us a dwelling place there. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. By and by, in the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. We shall sing on that beautiful shore the melodious songs of the blessed, and our spirits shall sorrow no more. Not a sigh for the blessing of rest. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. By and by, in the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. Our bountiful Father above, we will offer our tribute of praise for the glorious gift of His love and the blessings that hallow our days. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. By and by, in the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. By and by, in the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. We shall meet on that beautiful shore.
For our next song tonight, I'm going to do a song from my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be album. Many of you already know the story about this, but some of you are new. In 1988, I opened my first little professional for lack of a better way to put it, for the time. It was somewhat professional as far as what they call project studios went. We certainly couldn't compete with the big boys in Nashville because the technology had not quite gotten there yet. Now, if you can afford a computer and some software in a room to put it in and a good mic and whatever instruments you need, you're in the recording business, you know. But not quite that simple, but it's a whole lot simpler than it used to be. But anyway, within the year, I thought, you know, Mom and Daddy my daddy was a preacher, and they certainly did not agree with me playing secular music in bars. But I thought, I guess my coming home was beginning to start, but I thought I would record a little album of gospel songs for them. And so I put this together, and I really don't, to be honest, I don't know why I picked this song out of all of them to be the title song of the album, but it became my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be album. And I did not realize at the time, this was in 1988, I didn't start doing gospel music till 1996, but I was starting to feel this tug. When I recorded that album, I started feeling the tug to do gospel music. I'm going, there's something here. When I entertain people under those old conditions. I'm playing the wrong songs. I'm cheerleading them on to drink too much, to probably go home with the wrong person at night. I mean, all of this stuff started bothering me. And so I started wanting to do gospel music. But anyway, this song was the title song of that first album that I did for my mom and dad. And little did I realize it would finally lead to opening the door to my gospel music career. And we'd be able to go and play and sell at the time it was cassette tapes, and then later on we were able to get CDs and what have you. But anyway, God blessed us. We made a good living and ate good. And no, we didn't have Cadillacs. Don't need a Cadillac. I had a Toyota. I always call my Toyota my Cadillac. But anyway, we were blessed with decent transportation, and we were able to get around all these mountains and hills up here in North Carolina and Tennessee, and we would go down to Florida and play, and of course Georgia. That was where I was from at the time. I've since then moved to North Carolina. But anyway, let me do this beautiful old song for you by Cordy Bridgewater. How beautiful heaven must be.
Of a place that's called heaven. It's made for the pure and the free. These truths in God's word He has given. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. Pure waters of life there are flowing, and all who drink may be free. Rare jewels of splendor are glowing. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. The angels so sweetly are singing up there by the beautiful sea. Sweet chords from their golden harps ringing. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be. Oh, how beautiful heaven must be.
For this next song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that taken from my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be album. This song was written by a man named Albert Brumley. Albert Brumley was born in 1905 in Oklahoma, and his father was a farmer. And Albert became a very prolific songwriter. He had over 600 songs published. And most of them were gospel songs, songs like Turn Your Radio On, Jesus Hold My Hand, many others. But this was probably his most popular, and it's in the upper echelon of gospel songs. It's up there with Sweet By and By and Amazing Grace and that ilk of song. But he said he was in the cotton patch picking cotton in 1929, and the melody and the words of a popular song at that time, which we think was the Prisoner song, had a reference in there of with the wings of an angel over these prison bars I will fly. And so he said he realized he could take that and use prison as a metaphor for being trapped in this life. You know, being here on earth is kind of like being in a prison of a sort, because we're waiting to go to heaven, you know, which is our home. And so that phrase became like a bird from prison bars has flown, I'll fly away. But anyway, so it took him about 3 years to perfect the song, and in 1932, it was finally published. And he went on to work for Hartford and Stamp Baxter publishing companies. He was a staff writer for some 34 years. And he was also a music teacher in the Ozarks. So he lived a life of music and writing and what have you. But tonight we're going to do our version of that great old song for you, I'll Fly Away.
Some glad morning when this life is old, I'll fly away to that home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars has flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Yes, I'll fly away.
For our next song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that was written by a man named Septimus Winter, but he wrote under several pseudonyms, the main one of which was Alice Hawthorne. He was a secular songwriter, wrote Listen to the Mockingbird, sold it for $5, and it went on to sell 20 million copies of sheet music. But anyway, this song was never intended to be a gospel song. It was just a song that he had written. But the evangelist saw it for what it was, and it had a lot of spiritual reference in it, so they popularized it, and it became a popular gospel song. But it's been published in over 50 hymnals. Jim Reeves did a version of it. The Statler brothers did a version of it. Anne Murray did a version of it. Marty Robbins did a version of it. The list is long of people that have recorded this song. But my mom and I did a version of it, and that's the version I'm going to do for you tonight. My mama was 75 when she recorded this part. I was finishing up that first album after 10 years of struggling, wanting to do gospel music, but not really knowing how to go about it. But I was re-recording that first album I did for them, and she happened to be visiting, and I asked her, I said, Mama, you want to sing the alto on this? Because I knew I grew up hearing her sing alto. That's probably why I sing harmony today. But she said, yeah, I'll do that. So at 75 years old, we go tromping out to the studio. I'm so glad we did. She passed away about 5 years ago, and I now have her on 4 or 5 of my songs. And I'll try to remember to tell you when she's singing with me. But anyway, Mom and I are going to do it for you. It's called Whispering Hope.
Soft as the voice of an angel, breathing a lesson unheard. Hope with a gentle persuasion whispers her comforting word. Wait till the darkness is over. Wait till the tempest is done. Hope for the sunshine tomorrow after the shower is gone. Whispering, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. If in the dusk of the twilight dim be the region of thought, will not the deepening darkness brighten the glimmering star? Then when the night is upon us, why should the heart sink away? When the dark midnight is over, watch for the breaking of day. Whispering, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. Whispering, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice.
For our next song tonight, I'm going to do you a song from my Turn Your Radio On album. And it was written by a man named William Golden in 1918. It's been published in over 40 hymnals, and many people have done a version of this song. Jim Reeves, the Statler Brothers, the Stanleys. Several people have recorded this song. It's one of those rare songs that the title is nowhere in the song. But anyway, we're going to do for you tonight, we're going to do our version of A Beautiful Life.
Each day I'll do a golden deed by helping those who are in need. My life on earth is but a span, and so I'll do the best I can. Life's evening sun is sinking low, a few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. To be a child of God each day, my light must shine along the way. I'll sing His praise while ages roll, and strive to help some troubled soul. Life's evening sun is sinking low, a few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. The only life that will endure is one that's kind and good and pure. And so for God I'll take my stand. Each day I'll lend a helping hand. Life's evening sun is sinking low, a few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. I'll help someone in time of need, and journey on with rapid speed. I'll help the sick and poor and weak, and words of kindness to them speak. Life's evening sun is sinking low, a few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. Life's evening sun is sinking low, a few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done, where there will be no setting sun, where there will be no setting sun.
For those of you who enjoy these great old gospel songs, I've put together a complete collection of all 6 of my gospel albums on 3 CDs. Most of the songs we'll be doing on the Friday Night Sing-Along are contained in this collection. There are 2 complete albums on each CD, and this collection also contains a book with the words and the chord changes I used to play each of the 62 songs. Perfect for those that like to sing and play along. Just go to our website, www.birdyeomans.com, and click the My Music Store tab, and this special offer will be at the top of the page. You can also email us directly if you prefer, and that address is linda@birdyeomans.com. You'll also find my individual CDs as well as DVDs of the Friday night sing-along episodes. Now let's get back to some of that great old-time gospel music. I do so enjoy our get-togethers on Friday night. They just always seem to go so fast, even though we've added the extra song. Still just goes by way too fast. But for our last song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that, by all accounts, most popular gospel song of all time. It was in it's been in like 1,600 hymnals. Been recorded well over 1,000 times. Johnny Cash did a version, Elvis Presley did a version, Mahalia Jackson did a version. A guy named Fiddlin' John Carson actually did the first version of this that was recorded. And in other episodes, I tell you how for the earlier work, some of these songs were not sung to the tune that we know today, back in the earliest time. And actually, Fiddlin' John Carson recorded it in 1930, and the tune that we know today really was already being associated with it. But for whatever reason, he did it there's a song called At the Cross, where I first saw the amazing grace, how sweet the sound. See, he did it to that melody. So that was the first recorded version that we know of, was in 1930. But then all these other people, I mean, I could be here all night naming all of the people that have done this song. But anyway, one of the great gospel songs of all time, written by John Newton, Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first
Well, that's our program for tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. It's good to be into a new season, and I've got some things planned for us in the next few weeks. And if you will, invite your friends. If they like this kind of music, invite them to be with us on Friday night and sing along with us. And don't forget, visit the website, birdyeomans.com. All my CDs and my book is there, along with some history and a few other things. It's not just a story. There's a lot of information on there. If you have any questions, be sure and ask my wife, Linda. Her email is linda@birdyeomans.com. And just appreciate so much all of you being with us tonight. Be kind to each other this week. I love you. I'll see you next Friday night.